You close your eyes and feel the weight of a tiny seed resting between your fingers. A small, rounded promise. A quiet heartbeat. You notice how the surface is smooth, almost imperceptibly warm, as if the sun itself paused for a moment to greet it. Your breath slows. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. The seed hums a lullaby you cannot yet hear, but you feel it in the soft thrum beneath your fingertips. You imagine the life waiting to unfurl, patiently, softly, like a hand reaching for morning light. The soil lies beneath your palms, cool and dark, a gentle cradle. Its scent rises faintly, earthy, damp, and rich, inviting you into the garden's rhythm. You wiggle your fingers slightly and feel the tiny grains slip through, each one a tiny companion, a patient listener. The wind brushes lightly against your cheeks, carrying the distant song of other seeds waking somewhere beyond your gaze. You smile quietly. Even the smallest of seeds knows the dance of waiting, and somehow, you do too. Seeds are storytellers. They contain chapters of sunlight, whispers of rain, echoes of ancestors, and hints of tomorrow. You can feel the narrative curled within, a miniature manuscript of life, written in curves and ridges and color. You trace the shell with a fingertip and imagine the molecules inside rearranging themselves with quiet precision, a choreography older than the first gardens, softer than any bell you've ever heard. It is a secret music, gentle but insistent. Every seed is a lullaby, a soft vibration that asks only to be noticed. You let your hands drift over more seeds, as if listening to their quiet conversation. Some are round and smooth, some ridged and intricate. You notice their differences as if noticing breaths. Inhale slowly. Exhale. The breeze teases at a stray hair, and you think, perhaps seeds have a sense of humor too, tucked away in their tiny shells, a little wink for those patient enough to watch. You imagine a tiny seed nudging its neighbor, a gentle tap saying, "Patience, we are growing together." A tiny universe lives inside each one. You imagine it stretching slowly, a faint golden glow spreading like warmth across your palm. Photosynthesis has not yet begun, but already there is anticipation, a whisper of light that will one day hum through green leaves. You feel the rhythm of possibility, the slow unfolding of potential. You picture roots dipping down, exploring unseen worlds, while leaves above will someday stretch into the sun, each movement a soft note in the garden's lullaby. You breathe in, matching the gentle arc of this imagined growth. The garden is quiet, but never still. There is a rhythm beneath the silence, a pulse that you can feel in your chest if you let yourself pause long enough. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Tiny wings of unseen insects stir, and the distant hum of soil teems with life. A worm wiggles somewhere beneath the surface, turning the earth with imperceptible grace, a gardener of the underground, moving in perfect time with the seed's quiet heartbeat. You chuckle softly at the thought. Life is busy, even when it seems to sleep. You imagine the seed's tiny instructions, written in a code that has whispered across generations. DNA coils like a silver thread inside, a script folded neatly, waiting to unfurl in rhythm with sun and rain and soil. CRISPR is not a hammer, but a gentle brush. It can whisper to this code, suggest a tiny nudge here, a soft rearrangement there, and the seed responds without protest, like a cat stretching in sunlit warmth. The garden approves of subtlety, of respect, of listening more than speaking. Outside, The breeze carries the scent of early blooms, faint and sweet, and you allow yourself to imagine the seed's first moments breaking through the soil. It pushes slowly, tentatively, a tiny finger of green reaching up. You breathe with it, a shared rhythm, inhale as it lifts, exhale as it rests, inhale as it stretches, exhale as it pauses. You feel warmth trickling into your shoulders, the slow hum of life weaving into your own heartbeat. Even in its stillness, the seed is a teacher. It teaches patience, teaches trust, teaches that growth cannot be hurried. You recall the last time you tried to rush something important, how awkward it felt, how the world seemed to sigh in quiet disapproval. The seed reminds you that time is soft, flexible, and generous. You laugh quietly to yourself. Perhaps we humans could learn from seeds, or perhaps the seeds are already laughing at us. Tiny seeds, tiny comedians. You gently press the seed into the soil, letting it nestle into darkness. The soil closes over it like a warm blanket. You rest your hand for a moment, feeling the connection between you and this sleeping life. Inhale. Exhale. The garden seems to exhale with you, a synchronized sigh that drifts through leaves and branches and distant trees. You imagine each seed as a note in a quiet symphony, every hidden rhythm a lullaby waiting to rise into morning light. The wind picks up faintly, brushing the grass in soft waves. You hear the faint whisper of other seeds, other seedlings, the distant murmur of the garden as it adjusts, listens, responds. You feel a gentle pulse, a continuity that stretches from your hand to the horizon, invisible and warm. You are part of this rhythm now, a quiet witness to the unfolding miracle of life. You smile. The garden does not demand. It invites. It hums. You follow. You sit for a while, imagining the seed dreaming its future. Each fold of its tiny shell is a note of music. Each tiny molecule poised to awaken is a gentle drumbeat. CRISPR will someday guide these notes, softly, respectfully, like a pianist brushing fingertips over a sleeping song. But for now, you just breathe. You just listen. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. The garden rests in you, and you in it. And as the sun drifts lower, spreading warm light across your shoulders, you let your mind wander into the quiet possibility of tomorrow. The seed will awaken, slowly, softly, and so will your understanding. You feel the hush of anticipation, but not in urgency, just in the gentle, steady rhythm of life that whispers, always whispers, through every leaf, every stem, every root. A small breeze brushes your face, a whisper of movement, a hint of the world beyond. You let your breath drift like it, soft and unhurried. The seed sleeps for now, and you sleep with it in thought, carrying its lullaby with you. And somewhere, beyond the soil and sun, the garden begins to hum its next secret. You follow the whisper, gently, like a breath flowing into the soft light of what comes next. You rise slowly from the earth where the seed sleeps, leaving your fingertips tingling with the warmth of possibility. A field stretches before you, not yet fully awake, but already humming softly in its quiet way. You step gently, your feet brushing dew-laden grass, each step a pulse, a heartbeat in rhythm with the garden. The air smells faintly of green, of sun, of quiet water flowing somewhere beneath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. You carry the hum of the seed with you, tucked beneath your skin like a secret lullaby. Petals wait. They unfold in imagination before your eyes, delicate cups of color, stretching toward the first warmth of sun. You notice the gentle curve of each one, how it turns toward light without a word, how it leans toward hope. You breathe with them, matching the rise and fall of the tiny leaves, inhaling as they stretch, exhaling as they pause, inhaling as they sway, exhaling as the breeze hums past. Somewhere, a tiny insect brushes against a flower. You smile quietly. Even the smallest visitor has a role, a soft note in the garden song. CRISPR is like holding sunlight in your hands. It does not demand, it does not push, it suggests. It nudges the gentle growth of petals, the tilt of leaves, the whisper of roots beneath the soil. You imagine tiny fingers tracing invisible lines of light across the edges of leaves, soft guidance that the plant can feel but barely notice. Like teaching a lullaby to a new note, a subtle harmony, never forceful, never urgent. You chuckle softly. Perhaps plants are patient students, perhaps they are wise teachers, laughing quietly at our human need to control. The garden shifts imperceptibly around you. Each stem seems to breathe in time with your own chest. You watch as a single leaf unfurls, catching the sun like a small lantern, and you notice how easily it bends, how delicately it dances. You imagine CRISPR as a gentle companion, a guide in the soft art of listening. It is not rewriting the music, it is adjusting the tempo, nudging the rhythm without disturbing the melody. You breathe in, imagining the soft warmth of sunlight filling the leaf's tiny veins, exhaling as your body relaxes into the garden's gentle sway. You wander through imagined fields where every flower is a quiet question mark, turning toward the warmth as if asking the sun for guidance. Some petals are shy, curled inward, barely peeking. Some stretch boldly, bold in their tender curiosity. You step carefully, feeling the soft hum of life beneath your feet. Inhale. Exhale. You notice how the soil smells faintly sweet, how the light touches your shoulder, how the wind whispers through the leaves like a lullaby. A small laugh escapes your lips. Perhaps the wind is tickling your ear, perhaps it is teaching you to relax. Each plant holds a story of potential. You imagine the threads of DNA inside them, coiled like silver ribbons, quiet, waiting for direction. CRISPR is a whisper in that quiet library, a gentle hand moving the script toward resilience, toward adaptability, toward harmony with the world beyond. You picture a flower learning to sway with a warmer breeze, a leaf nudged to sip water more wisely, a stem adjusting ever so slightly to catch just the right light. The changes are subtle. They are soft. They are patient. And you, walking among them, breathe in the warmth of gentle possibility. You pause near a small cluster of blooms, noticing the subtle differences between them. One leans just slightly eastward, another arches delicately west, and another seems to hover in the middle, undecided. You imagine a tiny hand, soft as morning mist, guiding the edges of petals, smoothing a fold here, shifting a tilt there, without ever breaking the natural rhythm. CRISPR is not magic, it is a patient conversation, a quiet invitation to growth. Inhale. Exhale. You notice the air humming faintly, the faint brush of pollen carried on an unseen breeze, the soft whisper of leaves. You smile. Growth is patient. So are you. Sunlight spills across your shoulder. The warmth is comforting, slow, like the hug of a friend who does not speak but simply stays. You notice your own breath drifting, long and soft, inhaling as the garden stretches, exhaling as it rests. Somewhere, a small bee drifts lazily across a bloom. You imagine it as a tiny punctuation mark in the sentence of petals, a comma in the garden's gentle lullaby. The thought makes you laugh quietly. Even science has room for tiny comedy, tucked into the folds of curiosity. The plants do not hurry. Neither do you. You trace the line of a stem with a fingertip, feeling its warmth, the pulse of life that is always there, always patient. CRISPR does not rush. It moves like a slow stream, adjusting, suggesting, encouraging without demand. You imagine a seed from yesterday already thinking about tomorrow, stretching roots toward water, leaves toward sun, learning the soft rhythm of its environment. You inhale. You exhale. The garden breathes with you. You feel it, faint and steady, beneath your ribs, through your fingertips, across the quiet curves of petals. Petals curl and uncurl like gentle waves, a slow dance that asks nothing but attention. You notice the patterns, the folds, the delicate edges catching sunlight. You imagine that somewhere, deep within the coat of each plant, tiny suggestions ripple outward. Leaves respond to the rhythm of rain, roots adjust to the tender pull of soil, stems sway toward warmth. You smile. Perhaps this is how life teaches patience, how it teaches trust, how it whispers that all change can be gentle. The garden hums softly around you, carrying the quiet promise of tomorrow. You notice that even the smallest act, tucking a seed gently into soil, adjusting a petal's turn, inhaling and exhaling in rhythm, becomes part of the lullaby. CRISPR is simply another gentle voice in the chorus, a whisper guiding potential without breaking harmony. You feel calm. You feel warmth. You feel a soft connection between your breath and the pulse of the field. You walk slowly, imagining the sun climbing higher, petals turning in tiny, unhurried arcs, leaves catching droplets of dew that glint like tiny stars. Inhale. Exhale. You notice the faint hum of distant soil, the quiet murmur of unseen life beneath your feet, and you feel the soft reassurance that growth is always unfolding, always patient, always kind. You chuckle softly to yourself. Even science can be tender, even the most delicate work can feel like a hug. And as your breath drifts longer, slower, you notice the subtle transitions in light, the quiet movement of petals, the faint, ever-present promise of new growth. Each plant, each leaf, each curl of a petal is a note in the garden's lullaby. You carry it gently in your chest, letting it hum beneath your ribs, guiding you forward. Somewhere, beyond the field, beyond the warmth of sun on your shoulders, the garden is teaching its next lesson. You follow the whisper, not rushing, just drifting, like a petal carried by a slow, soft wind. CRISPR is not a push, it is a breath, a gentle guiding hand, a quiet song that asks only to be noticed. You inhale. You exhale. And in that exhale, you feel the petals leaning just slightly toward what comes next. You kneel softly in the garden, letting your hands press into the cool, dark soil. It is damp and welcoming, almost velvet beneath your palms. You inhale slowly. Exhale. You feel the pulse of the earth beneath your fingers, subtle and steady, like a heartbeat beneath your own. Roots stretch quietly in this world beneath the sun, exploring, curving, tasting. You imagine them moving like slow dancers, reaching into hidden spaces, learning the shape of the world without a word, without a rush. The garden feels different here, beneath the visible green. The air is dense with earth, and the hum of life is deeper, steadier. You notice faint vibrations as worms move, as tiny insects weave invisible paths, as roots brush past one another in silent curiosity. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the pull of gravity, the tug of water, the softness of soil sliding gently against your skin. You are part of this rhythm now, a quiet witness to the subterranean song of life. Roots are explorers, and they are teachers. They teach patience, guiding the plant to reach where it will find the gentle nourishment of water and the soft minerals of soil. You trace an imaginary path with your finger, following the journey of a root curling around a stone, bending delicately to avoid an obstacle. You imagine the roots sensing, feeling, deciding an ancient, subtle wisdom encoded in every tendril. You breathe slowly, letting your chest rise and fall in sync with its quiet exploration. CRISPR is a whisper here, beneath the rhythm of growth. It is not a hammer or a command, it is a gentle suggestion. It guides roots to respond more gracefully to the signals around them, a faint hint of moisture, a subtle nutrient gradient, a distant tremor from other living beings underground. You imagine it like a soft teacher, leaning over the shoulder of the root, saying only, perhaps this way, softly, gently. The root bends, curious but unhurried, continuing its slow, deliberate journey. You feel the coolness of soil on your fingertips and imagine the tiny molecules of life moving through it. Water weaves between grains, carrying whispers of minerals, soft nutrients, hints of past rainfall. You inhale. Exhale. Each particle seems to hum a quiet song, each droplet a note in the garden's lullaby. You smile. Even in the dark, hidden world beneath, there is music. Even here, life is patient, steady, and endlessly gentle. The roots curl around each other like dancers in a slow, careful embrace. You notice the subtle differences. One twists left, another spirals right, and yet another pauses as if listening to a faint instruction carried through the soil. You imagine the root feeling the pressure, the moisture, the invisible nudges that guide growth without ever forcing it. CRISPR adds just the faintest touch, a whisper to help the root sense what it might otherwise overlook, a soft encouragement rather than a command. You inhale, feeling the soil's cool embrace seep into your palms. Exhale. The deeper you sink into this quiet observation, the more you notice the subtle energy that hums beneath the surface. Tiny fungi weave like silver threads among the roots, connecting plants in a soft network, exchanging messages too gentle to hear, yet somehow known. You imagine these threads like a quiet telephone line, carrying information about water, about nutrients, about soft warnings and gentle guidance. You laugh softly. Even the underground has its little social network. Each root is a patient listener. You trace the imagined paths of roots beneath a young plant, curving delicately toward water, feeling the faint tug of mineral-rich soil. You breathe with them, inhale as they stretch, exhale as they pause, inhale as they sense, exhale as they adjust. The rhythm is steady, slow, hypnotic. The garden is teaching you patience, trust, and the delicate art of listening to subtle cues, even when the world above is bright and busy. You imagine the soft pulse of life that runs through every root, the same pulse that carries through the soil to the seed you held yesterday. It is a quiet, continuous hum, a gentle conversation that connects leaf to root, flower to stem, human to earth. You feel it through your fingers, through your chest, as if the soil itself is breathing with you. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. The rhythm is hypnotic, a lullaby that guides your mind toward calm observation and quiet wonder. The garden's secrets are layered here. You notice how roots avoid stones and debris, bend delicately around each obstacle, and yet find nourishment everywhere they reach. It is a dance of patience, a choreography of flexibility and gentle persistence. You imagine the roots whispering to one another, sharing subtle guidance like neighbors exchanging a quiet tip about where water pools, where the soil is softer, where life hums a little louder. You chuckle softly. Perhaps roots are secret comedians too, delighting in their hidden life underground. You lean closer, feeling the hum of tiny movements beneath your palm. You notice the faint scent of earth, rich and grounding, and the slow vibration of unseen life. CRISPR is a patient listener here, suggesting improvements without rushing, adjusting without demanding. You imagine it like a gentle gardener kneeling beside every root, helping the plant sense the soft world it inhabits. It nudges gently, like a feather, never pulling, never harsh, only guiding with care. Water moves through the soil in quiet streams, a hidden river threading beneath your hands. You imagine roots dipping delicately into this flow, drawing strength and warmth, pausing to drink deeply, then continuing their slow exploration. Inhale. Exhale. The garden and your own breath match perfectly, long and soft, each inhalation carrying curiosity, each exhalation carrying calm. You notice the faint vibration of life everywhere, a rhythm that connects everything in the field, above and below, into a single, soothing hum. Roots are not hurried. Neither are you. You follow their path slowly, gently, imagining the tiny adjustments CRISPR can suggest, a soft nudge toward resilience, a gentle encouragement toward adaptability. The roots respond as if they've always known this song, bending gracefully, exploring patiently, trusting the rhythm of the earth. You inhale. Exhale. You feel warmth fill your chest, a quiet sense of belonging to the subterranean lullaby of life. You pause to rest your hands in the soil, feeling the pulse of life beneath, the cool earth against your skin, the faint murmur of unseen insects weaving through dark tunnels. You notice the slow stretch of roots, the subtle expansion into new pockets, the delicate conversation between fungi, roots, and water. You inhale, and the garden inhales with you. You exhale, and it exhales, as if teaching you the patience of time and the grace of quiet persistence. And as your breath drifts, long and soft, you feel the gentle pull of the garden upward. The leaves above will eventually catch sunlight, petals will unfold, stems will stretch. All of it begins here, beneath the surface, guided by invisible hands, shaped by patient listening, touched by gentle science. You smile, knowing that every root, every thread, every unseen particle carries the promise of growth, resilience, and harmony. The hum beneath your fingers grows faintly warmer, a subtle vibration that rises through stem and leaf, reaching the sunlit fields above. You follow it slowly, letting your breath drift like a root weaving through soil, soft and unhurried. The roots whisper lessons of patience, of trust, of listening to the quiet pulse of the earth. You feel them, carrying you gently toward the light, toward leaves shimmering like lanterns in morning warmth, toward the next secret the garden wishes to share. You rise from the soil where the roots stretch like slow dancers, feeling the gentle pull of life moving upward. Sunlight spills across the field, warm and golden, brushing your shoulders, warming your hair, kissing the tips of leaves. You inhale, feeling the rhythm of the garden rise into your chest. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Each breath syncs with the gentle sway of stems, the soft stretch of leaves, the quiet song of light touching life. The leaves shimmer before you, soft and tender, each one a lantern catching the morning sun. You watch the edges curl slightly, the surface trembling in a slow, rhythmic dance. Inhale. Exhale. You feel warmth spill into your palms as if the sun itself has reached down to greet you. Each leaf drinks softly, patiently, drawing light like a gentle sip of tea, converting it into life without effort, without rush. You smile quietly. Even light has its patience, even energy has a lullaby. You lean closer, imagining the tiny chloroplasts humming in quiet, invisible rhythm. Each one is a soft, green musician, converting sunbeams into gentle pulses of life. CRISPR is a quiet listener here, suggesting subtle adjustments, helping leaves harmonize with their environment. It does not shout, does not demand, it whispers. A leaf tilts slightly toward warmth. A stem arches softly. The garden teaches that growth is never hurried. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. You drift with the rhythm, carried by soft light and quiet energy. The air smells faintly of green, of early dew, of warm earth. You reach out and let your fingertips brush a leaf, feeling the slight vibration of life beneath your touch. It hums softly, a song too delicate to hear with ears, but unmistakable with heart. Somewhere, a small insect flits across a blade of grass, a punctuation mark in the symphony of green. You chuckle softly. Perhaps even photosynthesis enjoys a little company, a tiny audience for its daily performance. Leaves are not only drinkers of light, they are dancers of air. They bend with the faintest breeze, responding with exquisite grace. You inhale, and the movement seems to echo in your own chest. Exhale, and the rhythm carries across the field. Sunlight filters through the canopy, painting soft patterns on your skin, warm gold against gentle shadows. You notice the subtle shifts in temperature, the cool spots where shade pools, the quiet warmth on your shoulders. The garden hums, and you hum with it, soft and steady. You imagine CRISPR moving like a whisper among the leaves, guiding without force. Perhaps a plant will better sense when light shifts, better balance energy between leaf and root, better harmonize with wind and sun. It is a conversation more than an instruction, a gentle suggestion more than a command. You inhale slowly, feeling the quiet elegance of this guidance. Exhale. The leaves sway in response, subtle, patient, graceful. The garden is a teacher, and you are a student of light. Sunlight glints on tiny droplets of dew resting on leaf edges, like scattered stars caught in green lanterns. You imagine each droplet holding a tiny reflection of the world, carrying the song of water from soil to sky. Photosynthesis hums beneath, converting warmth and light into subtle energy that travels through stem and root, reaching seeds and soil alike. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. You feel the pulse of life rising, soft and persistent, like the tide of a quiet ocean flowing upward through the garden. Leaves are lanterns, yes, but also storytellers. They whisper of climate, of humidity, of warmth, of gentle wind. You imagine that the subtle angles of each blade record the soft lessons of every day, every season. CRISPR listens to these stories, guiding crops to better harmonize with their surroundings. It nudges without demanding, a patient choreographer teaching the garden to sway gracefully in concert with its environment. You smile. Perhaps leaves are the most patient dancers of all. A small breeze drifts through the field, carrying the faint hum of pollen, the soft vibration of unseen insects, the delicate whisper of the earth rising from below. You inhale, letting the scent of green and warm light fill your chest. Exhale. You notice how the leaves respond, tilting gently, as if acknowledging your presence, as if saying, "Yes, we are here. Yes, we are learning. Yes, we are patient." You chuckle softly. Even science has room for tiny humor tucked between veins of a leaf. The soft green glow of chlorophyll hums quietly in your mind's eye. Each leaf is a lantern, each chloroplast a tiny flame, converting sunlight into gentle life. CRISPR is a quiet hand guiding the light's journey, helping energy move gracefully from leaf to stem to root. You inhale, tracing the path of imagined photons as they skip along veins, carrying warmth, carrying possibility. Exhale. You feel a deep sense of reassurance. Life does not hurry, growth does not demand, energy is patient and kind. You walk slowly among the leaves, letting your hands drift along the edges of lantern-like blades. You notice their subtle differences, their small decisions about tilt and angle, their tiny responses to wind and sun. Each one is a lesson in observation, a meditation in patience. You breathe with them, inhale as they lift, exhale as they settle, inhale as they sway, exhale as they glow. The garden is alive, not in a rush, not in a roar, but in a steady, soothing hum. The warmth of the sun settles on your back, threading through your sleeves, filling you with quiet energy. You notice the soft rustle of leaves overhead, the faint hum of the earth beneath, the delicate vibration of unseen life in the soil. CRISPR guides this invisible energy subtly, like a gentle finger adjusting a soft chord, a whisper in the quiet symphony of growth. You smile. Perhaps science itself is a lullaby, a patient song carried on the breeze. You pause beneath a particularly bright leaf, tracing its veins with your gaze. Sunlight filters through, and you imagine it glowing softly, a tiny lantern in a quiet cathedral of green. Photosynthesis flows like music, carrying warmth and possibility through stem and root, reaching seeds curled in soft anticipation. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You feel your own breath drift slowly in harmony with the leaf's quiet song. The garden is teaching you patience, teaching you grace, teaching you how to listen. Leaves tilt, shimmer, hum, and sway. You watch as light shifts across the field, painting gentle patterns, highlighting tiny details. Each petal, each blade of grass, each leaf is a lantern and a teacher, guiding your gaze, guiding your attention, guiding your breath. CRISPR acts like a soft mentor, helping the garden respond gracefully, subtly, to light, wind, and warmth. You inhale. Exhale. You smile quietly at the thought that even in science, even in growth, gentleness is everything. The sun moves slowly across the sky. Shadows stretch, warmth pools, and leaves shimmer like tiny floating lanterns. You notice the soft rhythm of energy, the quiet conversion of light into life. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the pulse beneath your fingertips, beneath your chest, beneath the entire field. The garden hums a lullaby, and you hum with it, slow, soft, steady. A small bee brushes past a leaf, adding a punctuation to the gentle music. You chuckle softly. Even the tiniest visitors are part of the dance. And as your breath drifts, long and slow, you feel the gentle pulse of energy moving from leaf to stem, stem to root, root to seed. The garden hums, lanterns sway, sunlight glows. You are a witness, a part of the rhythm, a quiet observer learning the poetry of light. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. The leaves tilt ever so slightly toward the warmth of possibility, toward the subtle guidance of gentle science, toward the next lesson that waits in the soft hum of the field. You stand among the lantern-like leaves, feeling the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the gentle pulse of energy rising from roots beneath the soil. A soft breeze drifts across the field, and you inhale it slowly, letting it fill your lungs. Exhale, letting the rhythm of air carry through your chest. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. You notice how the breeze stirs the leaves, nudging them ever so slightly, a reminder that the garden listens, that it responds, that it is alive in ways you can feel but cannot always see. The wind carries whispers, the faint scent of rain yet to fall, the gentle heat of sun-warmed soil, the distant dryness that presses lightly against the horizon. You imagine the garden tuning itself to these signals, sensing subtleties in temperature and moisture, adjusting stem and root with careful grace. CRISPR is a quiet interpreter here, helping crops respond more softly, more attentively, without rushing, without forcing. You inhale, feeling the gentle suggestion ripple through leaves. Exhale, letting it drift through your own body. Every plant senses its surroundings differently, and every plant learns in its own way. You imagine a small stem tilting toward warmth, a leaf curling just slightly in anticipation of a passing cloud, roots dipping ever so cautiously toward hidden pockets of water. You follow these movements with your breath. Inhale as the garden stretches, exhale as it rests, inhale as it senses, exhale as it adjusts. The rhythm is steady, gentle, hypnotic, like the slow tides of a quiet ocean. A faint rustle passes through the taller stems, a soft vibration that travels through your fingertips. Somewhere, deep in the soil, roots shift imperceptibly, aligning with the moisture they detect. Above ground, leaves tilt, shimmer, and hum with the sun's warmth. You notice how subtle these responses are, almost invisible, yet profoundly intelligent. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the quiet wisdom of the garden pulsing through your own heartbeat, a gentle reassurance that life knows how to adjust. CRISPR is patient. It moves like a slow breeze, nudging, suggesting, translating signals from the environment into small, precise adjustments. Perhaps it helps a leaf sense a slight temperature rise, guiding it to conserve energy. Perhaps it encourages roots to seek water in pockets they might otherwise overlook. The changes are subtle. They are gentle. They are respectful. You smile quietly. Even the smallest whisper can carry profound meaning when it is given time and space to be heard. The sun shifts slightly in the sky, and you notice how the garden responds in quiet harmony. Petals tilt, stems bend, leaves shimmer. You breathe with the rhythm of light and wind, inhaling as plants adjust, exhaling as the garden settles into its new posture. You notice how your own body mirrors these gentle movements, the slow lift of your chest, the soft sway of your shoulders, the long, unhurried curve of your spine. The garden and you are one rhythm, one quiet, patient pulse. You close your eyes and let the air carry you into imagination. You picture clouds moving lazily across the horizon, carrying moisture, cooling warmth, hinting at rain yet to fall. The garden senses it, adjusting subtly, roots sinking toward water-rich pockets, leaves stretching toward gaps in shade. You imagine CRISPR as a soft mentor, listening, translating, guiding without ever rushing. The plants lean into its gentle suggestions, their responses like small, precise gestures in a slow dance choreographed by light, air, and soil. A faint scent of rain drifts from the distance, mixed with warmth from sun-warmed soil. You inhale, letting the fragrance fill your chest. Exhale, and feel the breeze lift slightly against your skin, brushing softly across leaves and petals. The garden sways gently, a delicate conversation between wind, light, water, and plant. You notice how this conversation never demands force, never hurries, but flows patiently, gracefully, like a lullaby you can feel more than hear. Even the smallest adjustments are profound. You imagine a leaf slightly curling to shade a tender bud, a stem shifting minutely toward light, roots probing patiently through soil. You inhale, imagining the soft energy moving through the plant's veins. Exhale, and feel it drift into your own body, a quiet rhythm of patience and adaptation. The garden is teaching you to notice, to honor subtlety, to move in harmony with gentle change. You smile quietly as a tiny insect flits past a flower, brushing against a petal like punctuation in a sentence you can feel but cannot read. Perhaps it carries pollen, perhaps it carries stories, perhaps it simply enjoys the dance. The garden does not judge. It does not rush. It responds in its own gentle way, teaching you that adaptation is never frantic, that resilience is a soft song, a slow, deliberate rhythm. You inhale. Exhale. You feel your chest rise and fall in quiet harmony with the field around you. CRISPR's work is never forceful here. It listens. It suggests. It nudges. Perhaps it helps a plant anticipate the subtle shift of temperature an hour from now. Perhaps it encourages roots to reach deeper, more gently, into hidden moisture. You inhale, imagining the unseen adjustments flowing softly through leaf, stem, and root. Exhale, feeling it ripple through the soil beneath your hands, a quiet reassurance that life and science can move together in harmony. The wind picks up faintly, brushing grasses and leaves in gentle waves. You notice how the garden bends with the breeze, adjusting to its rhythm, leaning into it without resistance. Each movement is patient, graceful, intentional. Inhale. Exhale. You feel your own spine mirror this soft flow, your muscles easing into the rhythm, your breath drifting long and slow, carrying you into the quiet understanding that adaptation does not need urgency. It simply needs attention, patience, and care. Sunlight warms your shoulders, and you notice the soft glow spreading across the field. You feel the faint pulse of energy in every leaf, every petal, every stem. CRISPR moves like a soft brush, guiding without interruption, tuning without pressure, helping plants respond gently to the subtle signals of climate. You inhale. Exhale. You notice the hum of life in your fingertips, the quiet vibrations beneath your feet, the soft resonance of your own heart as it syncs with the pulse of the garden. You imagine the air carrying distant changes, warmth rising, clouds gathering, the faint hint of rain, shifts in temperature. The garden senses it all, adjusting minutely, gracefully, with infinite patience. You inhale, tracing the invisible path of energy through roots, stems, leaves, and petals. Exhale, letting the soft rhythm seep into your own body. You smile quietly, reassured by the steady, slow, intelligent pulse of life, by the quiet guidance of gentle science, by the soft whisper of possibility in every breath. The garden teaches that adaptation is a dance. It is not struggle. It is not urgency. It is listening, responding, adjusting, in perfect rhythm with the world around it. You breathe slowly, inhaling as the plants stretch, exhaling as they settle. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You feel yourself carried by the same gentle motion, a part of the soft song of life, a quiet witness to resilience unfolding in slow, patient waves. And as the breeze drifts past, brushing lightly against your cheeks, you sense the subtle hum of water, the whisper of temperature, the quiet message of air. CRISPR moves gently through these currents, helping plants respond softly, without force. You inhale. Exhale. The garden leans into the change, and you lean with it. Together, you drift toward the next lesson the field will reveal, toward the soft guidance of DNA itself, toward the quiet story waiting to be read in the hidden scripts of life. You kneel in the warmth of the field, your fingers brushing the tips of leaves still shimmering like lanterns in morning light. You inhale slowly, feeling the hum of life rise through your palms, your arms, your chest. Exhale, letting the quiet pulse sink into your bones. Inhale again. Exhale. Somewhere beneath the green, deep inside the stems and roots, a hidden language flows. DNA. The garden's invisible score, a delicate symphony of instructions written in curves, loops, and coils that you cannot see, but somehow feel. Imagine it now, unfurling in your mind like a soft ribbon stretching across the garden. Each strand hums gently, carrying messages older than the soil, older than the sun. You trace the invisible letters with your fingertips, letting them slip through your mind like water through your palms. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the subtle warmth of possibility in the air. This script is patient. It does not rush. It waits, quietly, for your attention, for your care, for the gentle guidance of CRISPR. You imagine a tiny hand brushing over the DNA, like a delicate artist adjusting a lullaby. Each fold, each loop, each sequence is a note, a phrase in a slow, meditative song of growth. CRISPR does not demand change, it suggests it softly, tuning traits without breaking the melody. You imagine a stem growing more resilient to gentle drought, a leaf adjusting to catch light just so, a root learning the subtle paths to water without ever being forced. You inhale, exhale, and feel the soft rhythm of life echo through your own heartbeat. The letters of DNA are like seeds within seeds, instructions within life itself, waiting to be read and understood. You imagine the quiet elegance of this code, its infinite patience, its subtle wisdom. Each gene is a note in the symphony, and the garden plays it softly, perfectly, in harmony with sun, soil, wind, and water. CRISPR is like a gentle teacher, guiding the music with a light touch, nudging a note here, shifting a phrase there, always careful never to disturb the underlying rhythm. You lean closer to a leaf, letting your gaze drift along its veins. You imagine them carrying life's instruction from the leaf tip to stem to root, flowing like a song you can feel rather than hear. Each vein is a soft conductor of energy, guiding the plant's responses to its environment. Inhale. Exhale. The invisible script hums beneath, quiet but constant, carrying the lessons of generations past and the promise of the future. You feel the soft reassurance that life's instructions are patient and elegant, and you are part of their unfolding. The soil beneath your fingers is warm now, carrying the faint scent of moss, of damp earth, of gentle water. You press your palm lightly against it, imagining the scripts in each root and seed responding. CRISPR moves like a whisper, suggesting small edits, subtle adjustments, soft guidance. It might hint that a stem should resist mild heat, or that a leaf might be more flexible, or that a root might reach a bit deeper without strain. These are small, patient suggestions, not commands. You inhale, exhale, and feel the gentle rhythm of life flowing in quiet agreement. You imagine DNA as a garden of its own, each strand a tender path, each loop a lantern, each note a soft vibration. CRISPR moves along these strands like a careful gardener, adjusting, observing, listening. It does not disturb the melody, it gently enhances it. You inhale, tracing the imagined lines in your mind's eye. Exhale, feeling the pulse of possibility ripple through the field around you, through leaves, stems, roots, and soil. The garden hums in soft approval. A faint breeze brushes past, stirring the leaves, carrying the subtle fragrance of chlorophyll, of pollen, of quiet growth. You inhale it slowly, letting it fill your chest. Exhale. The DNA within the garden seems to respond, folding and shifting with gentle grace. Every plant, every seed, every hidden script moves in harmony with subtle guidance, nudged ever so softly by gentle science. You smile quietly. Even the tiniest adjustment carries meaning when done with patience. You watch a young stem tilt toward the sun. Its movement is slow, deliberate, soft, and perfect. You imagine the DNA within it, sending instructions like quiet notes along the plant's veins, telling it how to stretch, how to bend, how to grow with grace. CRISPR's guidance is a whisper in this conversation, suggesting, nudging, tuning without ever breaking the melody. You inhale, feeling the quiet energy of the field fill your chest. Exhale, letting it drift gently into your limbs, into your awareness, into your calm. Leaves shimmer like lanterns, veins glinting faintly in the sunlight. You imagine each one carrying strands of code, each strand a story, each story a small melody in the symphony of life. CRISPR gently tunes the song, a nudge here for resilience, a soft suggestion there for adaptability. The adjustments are subtle, precise, almost imperceptible, but the garden responds beautifully, a patient, graceful dance. Inhale. Exhale. You feel your own breath sync with the soft rhythms of leaf and stem, root and soil. The hidden scripts of DNA are patient listeners. They fold, coil, hum, and whisper with quiet intelligence. You imagine tracing them with your mind, letting your fingers drift over invisible letters, feeling the soft pulse of potential, the delicate vibration of life waiting to awaken. CRISPR is a gentle companion here, a quiet hand in the symphony, guiding without rushing, listening without interrupting. You inhale slowly. Exhale softly. Life moves patiently. You move with it. Sunlight warms your back, and you notice the soft rustle of leaves, the faint hum of unseen insects, the subtle vibrations beneath your feet. CRISPR suggestions ripple through veins and stems like a gentle breeze, a quiet encouragement for plants to grow with awareness, to respond with grace, to harmonize with climate, light, and soil. You inhale. Exhale. The garden teaches you to notice the delicate song of life, the patient unfolding of potential, the beauty of careful attention. You imagine DNA not as cold, rigid letters, but as a soft, living script. It bends with need, flows with possibility, responds with intelligence to tiny whispers of guidance. CRISPR is not rewriting. It is listening. It is suggesting. It is teaching the garden to play a new note in the same lullaby it has been humming for millennia. You inhale, tracing the imagined letters softly in your mind. Exhale, feeling them ripple through your body, soft, warm, patient. The field hums with quiet energy. Stems stretch, leaves tilt, roots probe patiently. You notice the subtle connections between all living parts, energy from the sun flowing down veins, nutrients traveling upward from soil, gentle exchanges of water and warmth. CRISPR acts like a soft teacher, tuning responses without breaking harmony. Inhale. Exhale. You feel yourself drifting in this rhythm, part of the quiet symphony, a witness to patient, deliberate growth. A soft breeze brushes your face, carrying hints of soil, sunlight, and chlorophyll. You close your eyes and imagine the scripts of life as a glowing, gentle lattice within every plant, every leaf, every seed. CRISPR traces soft lines, tunes gentle notes, adjusts delicate curves. The garden responds in whispers, in stretches, in pulses of energy, and you breathe with it. Inhale as the garden adjusts, exhale as it rests, inhale as it senses, exhale as it flows. And as your breath drifts long and slow, you feel the gentle pulse of DNA beneath the soil, the veins, the leaves. The invisible score hums softly, patiently, a lullaby of life that carries lessons of resilience, adaptability, and harmony. CRISPR guides without rushing, nudges without demanding, and you carry its quiet wisdom in your chest. The garden song flows through you, through your fingers, through the warmth of the sun, through the hum of unseen life beneath your feet. You kneel among the blooms, inhaling the warm scent of petals and sun-warmed leaves. Exhale slowly, letting the sweetness fill your chest. Inhale. Exhale. You notice a faint vibration in the air, subtle, almost musical, like a heartbeat shared between flowers. Somewhere, a bee drifts lazily across the garden, wings whispering against sunlight. Its tiny hum is a soft punctuation in the symphony of the field, and you let it carry your attention toward the gentle magic of pollination. Bees and butterflies, hummingbirds and small wind currents, all drift like quiet messengers. Each flower waits patiently, offering its nectar, its pollen, its soft story. You imagine the invisible conversation that unfolds as each tiny visitor brushes past a stamen, carries a particle of life, and continues. The garden listens. It responds. It adjusts. Inhale. Exhale. You feel your own chest rise with the rhythm of this quiet exchange, your body soft and steady, a part of the conversation. CRISPR is a gentle translator here, helping plants join this chorus with care. It nudges the flower to better sense when a pollinator arrives, to release pollen at the right moment, to guide reproduction with grace. It does not rush. It does not demand. It whispers, like a mentor leaning over a child's shoulder, suggesting small, precise ways to respond. You inhale, feeling the quiet pulse of life ripple through petals and veins. Exhale, letting the rhythm settle into your body. You notice the subtle choreography of pollination. A bee brushes one blossom and drifts to another. Pollen clings softly to its legs, carried in a delicate balance between flowers. You imagine each particle like a note in a soft lullaby, traveling across the garden, whispering instructions, connecting stems and petals, roots and leaves. The garden is alive in subtle movement, teaching you that life is never solitary, that resilience grows from conversation, from connection, from patience. The warm air carries faint scents of nectar, of soil, of chlorophyll. You breathe it in slowly. Exhale. Somewhere deep in the petals, a soft vibration passes from stamen to pistil, a tiny signal that a connection has been made. You imagine the plant sensing, adjusting, learning, even as it stands rooted in quiet patience. CRISPR's guidance is a gentle echo here, helping each plant understand its part in the larger network without ever forcing it. You watch a small bee pause on a bright yellow flower. Its wings shimmer in the sunlight, vibrating gently, creating a rhythm that seems to resonate with the petals themselves. You inhale, letting the hum of wings mingle with the soft pulse of life in the garden. Exhale. You imagine the pollen moving like whispers across veins and stems, finding fertile ground, ready to awaken seeds yet to come. Even the tiniest movement carries importance when given time and attention. The garden is teaching you subtle patience. You notice how flowers do not compete harshly, they adjust to one another, timing blooms, tilting petals, following gentle patterns of sun and wind. Inhale. Exhale. You trace the invisible threads connecting stem to leaf, root to flower, bee to blossom, seed to soil. Everything hums in soft rhythm, a network of life that responds without haste, that moves without force, that grows with quiet grace. CRISPR works in harmony with this network, guiding the dance without breaking it. Perhaps a blossom senses a pollinator's approach more readily. Perhaps pollen is released with more precise timing, helping seeds thrive without disrupting the natural cadence. You inhale, imagining these adjustments flowing through petals and veins. Exhale, feeling the soft rhythm of the garden carry into your own body. You smile quietly, reassured by the patient, deliberate flow of life. Somewhere nearby, a butterfly flutters past, brushing against a cluster of blooms. You imagine the invisible particles it carries, tiny messengers connecting flower to flower, teaching the garden lessons of resilience and communication. You breathe slowly, following its delicate dance, inhale as it pauses, exhale as it drifts away, inhale as pollen settles, exhale as the flower responds. The rhythm is hypnotic, soft, steady, like a lullaby you can feel in your chest. You reach out gently, letting your fingers brush the edge of a petal. You feel the soft vibration of life beneath your touch, a faint tremor carried from stamen to pistil, from flower to seed. CRISPR's guidance is here, too, like a patient whisper, move slightly, respond subtly, listen carefully. You inhale slowly, letting the suggestion ripple through your own awareness. Exhale. You feel a quiet sense of connection with every flower, every insect, every hidden thread that binds the garden together. The air hums faintly with energy. Warm sunlight brushes your face. You imagine the pollen traveling like tiny lanterns on a gentle breeze, each one a soft carrier of life, each one contributing to the rhythm of growth. Inhale. Exhale. You feel your chest rise and fall with the pulse of the garden, slow and deliberate, each breath a quiet acknowledgement of life's interconnected song. You notice a hummingbird hovering above a red blossom, wings beating in delicate rhythm. You inhale, tracing the invisible dance between flower and pollinator, exhale, letting the quiet hum drift into your body. CRISPR works gently here, nudging plants to listen to subtle cues, to harmonize with their environment, to participate in life's conversation without ever disturbing its quiet poetry. The garden whispers, and you listen, soft and steady. Even the tiniest participants matter. A small ant scurries across a leaf, carrying a hint of pollen, a piece of nectar, a trace of life. You notice the intricate choreography of these small movements, how they contribute to resilience, to harmony, to connection. You inhale slowly, letting the soft pulse of all these interactions fill your awareness. Exhale, feeling yourself become part of the network, a quiet witness to the gentle dance of pollination. The flowers sway with subtle awareness of the air and light. You imagine the invisible threads connecting all blooms, like faint silver lines vibrating softly in the sun. Each adjustment is precise, patient, delicate. CRISPR moves gently within these threads, helping each flower and stem respond more gracefully, more attentively, without ever rushing. Inhale. Exhale. You feel your own breath sync with the hum of the garden, slow, soft, and unhurried. Sunlight shifts, warm and golden, over petals and leaves. The tiny hum of bees and wings, of pollen and nectar, of subtle plant adjustments, becomes a gentle lullaby. You inhale, letting it fill your chest. Exhale, letting it ripple through your fingers into the soil below. The garden is alive with conversation, a quiet, deliberate network of growth and response, and you are a participant, a listener, a gentle witness to its soft, patient rhythms. And as your breath drifts, long and steady, you feel the quiet pulse of the garden ripple through petals, stems, roots, and leaves. You notice the gentle sway of flowers in the breeze, the delicate flutters of wings, the invisible paths of pollen connecting blooms like whispered notes in a lullaby. CRISPR's soft guidance flows with these movements, subtle and precise, enhancing connection without breaking the song. You kneel among the swaying stems, inhaling the soft fragrance of leaves and sun-warmed earth. Exhale slowly, letting your chest soften, letting your mind ease into the rhythm of the garden. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the subtle pulse of life beneath your fingertips, beneath your palms, through the warmth of soil rising softly against your skin. The air hums gently, carrying whispers of insects, faint rustles of unseen movement, and the delicate vibration of plants sensing their world. In the quiet, you notice the garden's subtle defenses. Leaves curl softly against too bright sun, stems thicken just enough to sway without breaking, petals close gently at nightfall. Even before humans intervene, plants respond in their own patient, deliberate ways. You inhale, feeling the soft wisdom of life, exhale, letting it ripple into your body. Inhale. Exhale. Every movement is small, measured, gentle, a quiet reassurance that protection does not need to shout. CRISPR moves like a gentle hand here, a quiet guide helping plants grow subtle shields. Perhaps a leaf becomes slightly tougher, a stem slightly more resistant to bending. Perhaps roots secrete compounds that quietly repel an uninvited visitor. All of this happens without force, without urgency. You imagine the invisible suggestions slipping through DNA like soft whispers, nudging life toward resilience, helping it respond gracefully to threats. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the rhythm of care pulsing through the soil and stems alike. You reach out, letting your fingers graze a leaf, feeling its soft texture, its faint vibration of life. Somewhere in that vibration is the story of adaptation, a leaf that learned to repel small pests, a stem that learned to bend with wind instead of breaking. CRISPR tunes the story, not rewriting it, but suggesting adjustments that let life carry on its patient, deliberate growth. You inhale slowly. Exhale. You feel the quiet reassurance of life adapting without struggle, of growth and protection coexisting softly. A gentle breeze drifts through the garden, carrying the faint hum of insects, the delicate scent of soil, and the warmth of sunlight. You watch leaves tilt slightly, almost imperceptibly, as if sensing the air itself. You imagine these tiny movements as a form of soft communication, a gentle shield against challenges, a patient lesson in resilience. CRISPR listens, nudges, and guides, making subtle adjustments that respect the melody of life already in motion. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the quiet wisdom of the garden threading through your own breath. Pests drift like distant clouds, ever present but never urgent. You notice how plants respond, stems bend, leaves adjust, roots shift subtly. Nothing hurries, nothing panics. You inhale slowly, letting the patience of these movements settle into your mind. Exhale. The garden whispers its reassurance. Protection need not be harsh, defense need not be sharp. Shields can be soft, adaptable, flowing with the rhythm of life. You inhale again. Exhale. You feel the calm pulse of resilience moving through the field and into your own chest. You imagine a gentle nudge along a leaf's edge. A microscopic signal passes through cells, suggesting a slightly stronger surface, a faint chemical shield that gently discourages intruders. Nothing is violent, nothing is abrupt. The leaf continues to shimmer softly, catching the light, drinking sunlight, and participating fully in the quiet symphony of growth. You inhale, letting this image fill your mind. Exhale. You feel the lessons sink into your awareness. Protection is gentle, patient, alive. Roots below respond, too. You imagine them sending out signals to unseen neighbors, tiny messages in chemical whispers, alerting surrounding plants, sharing guidance. CRISPR works subtly here as well, helping these exchanges happen more gracefully, more attentively. You inhale slowly, feeling the quiet network of resilience beneath your fingertips. Exhale, letting the pulse ripple through soil, stem, leaf, and your own body. The garden is teaching you that every part, seen and unseen, contributes to protection without force. A small bee brushes past a flower, wings humming softly. You watch petals tilt and sway, subtly adjusting to its passage, their tiny movements forming a quiet choreography of defense and openness. You inhale. Exhale. Even in delicate vulnerability, the garden carries resilience. CRISPR's gentle guidance respects this balance, ensuring that protection and growth coexist in harmony. You smile softly at the thought, even the tiniest gestures can create a shield that does not disturb the song of life. Sunlight filters through the leaves, casting soft patterns on the soil. You inhale, noticing the subtle vibration of life beneath each shadow, each sunlit patch. Exhale. Some leaves have thickened slightly, petals contain gentle compounds, roots have adjusted their flow, all without rushing, all without struggle. Inhale again. Exhale. The rhythm of life hums steadily, softly, as the garden learns to carry shields that are patient, adaptable, and alive. You notice a cluster of flowers slightly tilting toward a warm breeze. You imagine CRISPR moving like a soft brush over invisible strands of DNA, nudging the plants to respond more gracefully, more resiliently, without ever breaking their natural patterns. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the quiet reassurance of intervention that honors the patient song of growth. The garden is safe. You are safe. Life adapts gently, softly, gracefully. Somewhere nearby, a tiny insect flits across a leaf, brushing gently against a stem. You inhale slowly, letting the subtle vibrations of its passage fill your awareness. Exhale. The leaf responds minutely, a small adjustment that strengthens without harshness. You imagine the invisible guidance of CRISPR, nudging the script of life ever so softly, ensuring resilience without force. The garden hums with quiet confidence, teaching you patience, teaching you grace, teaching you that shields can be soft and protective at the same time. You close your eyes, inhaling the warmth of sunlight, the faint hum of movement, the subtle fragrance of soil and leaves. Exhale, letting your body relax, letting your mind follow the gentle rhythm of protective growth. You feel the quiet pulse of life through your chest, your arms, your fingertips. CRISPR's guidance flows gently through the field, through cells, through roots, stems, leaves, and seeds. Inhale. Exhale. You are part of the symphony of care, a witness to protection that never shouts, never forces, never hurries. The wind drifts across the garden, lifting petals slightly, brushing softly across leaves. You notice tiny adjustments in response to the movement, almost imperceptible, yet meaningful. CRISPR's suggestions ripple through these movements like a whisper in a lullaby, enhancing the garden's natural rhythm, tuning its resilience without ever disturbing its harmony. You inhale slowly. Exhale. You feel your chest expand and soften with each breath, carried by the quiet pulse of life. And as your gaze drifts across the field, you see stems and leaves swaying in gentle rhythm, shields forming subtly, adjustments flowing seamlessly, protection woven softly into growth. Inhale. Exhale. You notice the calm intelligence of the garden, the quiet guidance of gentle science, the patient song of life unfolding in waves. CRISPR moves with a whisper, the garden responds with grace, and you drift slowly with it, carried toward the next lesson. You stand in the soft glow of early morning, sunlight pooling across leaves and petals. Exhale slowly, letting your chest open to the warmth. Inhale gently, filling your lungs with the scent of soil and dew. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the slow pulse of time in the garden, the rhythm of seasons humming softly beneath your feet. Each plant is attuned to this rhythm, sensing the long whispers of sun and shadow, temperature and moisture, shaping growth with patient grace. You notice how the garden moves with the subtle cadence of light. Leaves tilt, blossoms stretch, roots probe gently into soil, all in quiet conversation with the slow arc of the sun. You inhale, following this rhythm. Exhale. The day rises softly, and you feel the gentle heartbeat of time flowing through petals, stems, roots, and your own body. Inhale. Exhale. Seasons are patient teachers, and the garden listens carefully, learning to bloom and rest with grace. CRISPR is a gentle guide in this dance of timing. It whispers to DNA, suggesting subtle adjustments, soft nudges that help flowers open just when the sun is warmest, seeds mature when moisture is most abundant. Nothing is forced, nothing is hurried. You imagine these invisible cues moving quietly through veins and stems, like faint ribbons of energy tracing a patient choreography. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the rhythm sink into your awareness, soft and steady. The wind drifts across the garden, lifting leaves in slow waves. You watch stems sway gently, noticing how each plant seems to sense the hours of sunlight, the cool of dawn, the warmth of midday, the stretching shadows of evening. Inhale. Exhale. You feel your own body mirror these gentle motions, chest rising and falling, spine stretching, arms loosening. Life moves in harmony, and you move with it, soft and unhurried. You reach down to brush your fingers over a small cluster of seedlings. Their tiny leaves quiver slightly, sensing the light, sensing warmth, sensing the slow pulse of the season. CRISPR nudges gently here, helping the seedlings understand when to stretch, when to pause, when to bloom. You inhale, letting the quiet intelligence of life flow into your chest. Exhale, feeling the garden's patient pulse ripple through your fingertips. The scent of earth and early blossoms fills your awareness. You inhale, noticing the subtle differences between shaded and sunlit leaves, between cooler soil and warmer soil, between shadowed petals and open blossoms. Exhale. The garden responds, minute by minute, hour by hour, in soft, deliberate adjustments. CRISPR guides without forcing, suggesting small, precise timing cues so that growth and rest follow the gentle rhythm of the world. Inhale. Exhale. You feel yourself carried by this slow, unhurried flow. You imagine the invisible threads of DNA as delicate metronomes, keeping time with sun and shadow, with warmth and moisture. CRISPR moves lightly among them, adjusting beats here, suggesting pauses there, ensuring the garden song flows without disruption. You inhale slowly, tracing these imagined metronomes with your mind's fingertips. Exhale softly, feeling the pulse of seasonal rhythm in your own heartbeat. The garden and your breath move together, slow, soft, and steady. Leaves shimmer with sunlight, roots sink gently into soil, and petals seem to reach just so, anticipating the gradual unfolding of days and nights. You notice how even the smallest adjustments, slightly earlier opening, slightly delayed closing, a softer tilt, carry meaning. CRISPR helps each plant sense and respond to the quiet messages of time, helping growth and rest harmonize with the patient rhythm of seasons. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the gentle song of life flowing through every leaf, every root, every blossom. The air carries warmth and the faint scent of flowers. You watch a bee hover lazily, following subtle cues from the garden. The plants are aware of the day's unfolding, the slow change of light, and even the tiniest creatures respond. Inhale. Exhale. You notice how CRISPR gently tunes these interactions, helping timing align with the natural flow, ensuring that resilience, growth, and reproduction all occur without strain. The garden hums, and you drift within its rhythm. A soft breeze lifts petals, carrying the faint fragrance of soil and chlorophyll. You inhale, letting it fill your chest. Exhale, and imagine invisible threads connecting each leaf and stem to the cycle of sun, shadow, warmth, and coolness. CRISPR nudges gently along these threads, encouraging plants to bloom, rest, and grow in delicate synchrony with the world around them. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the rhythm of patience settle in your own chest, a quiet heartbeat echoing the garden song. Shadows lengthen slowly. You notice the subtle differences in light across leaves, stems, and petals, and you imagine the DNA within responding, unfolding, guiding growth with precise patience. CRISPR offers gentle suggestions, a tiny adjustment in leaf angle, a soft cue to bud a little later, a subtle encouragement for roots to pause and rest. Nothing is hurried, nothing is harsh. The garden song continues softly, like a lullaby you can feel rather than hear. You kneel among the rows of plants, brushing your fingers along warm stems. You notice the patient rhythm of life moving through every vein, every root, every petal. Inhale. Exhale. Even the smallest movements are meaningful. The garden reminds you that timing is not imposed, it is discovered, listened to, tuned with care. CRISPR helps plants respond more gently to the long whispers of the season, aligning growth and rest with soft cycles of sun, warmth, and shadow. Petals shimmer in fading light, stems stretch slightly, and roots probe quietly into soil. You inhale slowly, sensing the gentle pulse of life in every plant, in every leaf, in every tiny adjustment. Exhale. You feel yourself carried by the soft, deliberate rhythm of the garden, the patient unfolding of seasonal cycles, the quiet guidance of CRISPR helping every plant harmonize without force. Inhale. Exhale. You feel a deep sense of calm as growth and timing flow together naturally. As dusk settles, a warm glow lingers across the field. You notice the subtle folding of leaves, the quiet slowing of stem growth, the gentle pause before night arrives. CRISPR nudges quietly, ensuring that the plants rest in harmony with the world around them, that they prepare gently for the next day. Inhale. Exhale. You mirror this slowing, your breath soft and steady, your heartbeat aligning with the rhythm of the garden. The garden teaches patience. It teaches awareness. It teaches you that time is not a force to be resisted, but a gentle rhythm to follow. CRISPR is a careful companion in this lesson, nudging plants with quiet guidance, helping them sense, respond, and harmonize with seasons without urgency or strain. You inhale. Exhale. You feel the soft pulse of life, the quiet passage of hours, the gentle unfolding of days into nights, and nights into new days. And as your breath drifts long and slow, you feel the garden's rhythm echoing through petals, stems, roots, and leaves. You notice the subtle balance of sun, shadow, warmth, and coolness, and you follow it gently, carried by the patient flow of life. Inhale. Exhale. You drift with the garden, soft and unhurried, toward the next chapter, where human hands and science meet the quiet wisdom of DNA to guide the garden's unfolding song. You step lightly into the garden, the soft warmth of sunlight brushing your shoulders, the gentle hum of leaves and insects filling the air like a quiet melody. Inhale slowly, letting the scent of soil, petals, and sunlight fill your chest. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the rhythm of life beneath your feet, in the gentle sway of stems, the tiny vibrations of roots, the subtle flutter of leaves. The garden is alive in a way that is soft, patient, and infinitely kind. As you walk, you notice the fields stretching in gentle waves, each plant a note in a quiet symphony, each row a stanza in a lullaby of growth. The sun filters through leaves, creating soft shadows on the soil, and you feel the slow pulse of life echoing in your own chest. Inhale. Exhale. The breeze carries a hint of nectar, of earth, of warmth, and you let it drift through your senses, reminding you that innovation can be soft, careful, and full of grace. CRISPR moves quietly through this garden, a gentle guide rather than a commanding force. It nudges DNA with subtlety, helping plants respond to light, water, wind, and temperature with grace. You imagine invisible threads tracing through stems and veins, carrying whispers of guidance: adjust slightly, respond with patience, grow in harmony. Inhale. Exhale. The garden listens, and you feel its slow wisdom radiating into your awareness. You pause beside a cluster of flowers, brushing your fingers lightly across petals. Each one trembles faintly with life, a soft vibration that echoes through veins, stems, roots, and soil. CRISPR's guidance is a gentle suggestion here, encouraging resilience, adaptability, and patient growth. The plants respond gracefully, bending slightly, opening just enough, reaching subtly towards sunlight without strain. Inhale. Exhale. You feel yourself drifting with their rhythm, part of the quiet symphony. The air hums softly with energy. Bees and butterflies flit lazily, carrying pollen like tiny lanterns, traveling between blossoms in a slow, deliberate dance. You inhale slowly, exhale gently, noticing how CRISPR nudges timing, guides subtle resilience, and helps flowers participate fully in the conversation of life. Nothing is rushed, nothing is forced. Growth and protection flow together, soft and patient, like waves moving gently across a calm sea. Roots below whisper their own stories, reaching into soil, tracing subtle currents of water and nutrients, sensing the rhythms of earth. CRISPR moves among these hidden pathways like a quiet mentor, suggesting small adjustments, subtle nudges that help roots anticipate drought or seek nourishment without strain. Inhale. Exhale. You imagine the pulse of guidance traveling through veins and fibers, flowing into the heart of every plant, harmonizing growth with resilience. You notice how each leaf catches the light differently, how stems bend with care, how petals tilt and shimmer. The garden is teaching you the rhythm of collaboration between plant and sun, root and soil, insect and blossom, science and life. Inhale slowly. Exhale. You feel the gentle pulse of understanding in your chest, the quiet reassurance that life and innovation can move together without rush or strain. A gentle breeze lifts the taller stems, and you notice the soft sway of leaves. Each movement is deliberate, patient, measured. CRISPR's guidance flows like a whisper through the invisible language of DNA, helping plants sense subtle changes in light, temperature, and moisture. You inhale, imagining the threads of instruction flowing softly through the garden. Exhale, letting the pulse of life ripple into your limbs, into your chest, into your awareness. Sunlight warms your face, and you notice the quiet intelligence of the garden. Plants respond to shifts in temperature, small changes in moisture, gentle nudges from air and wind. CRISPR moves with subtlety, suggesting resilience, strengthening adaptation, tuning growth without ever imposing. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the slow rhythm of innovation, patient and attentive, moving through veins, stems, roots, leaves, and soil. The garden hums with gentle confidence. You watch a bee pause briefly on a bright blossom, wings vibrating faintly, pollen brushing delicately against the petals. The flower responds with subtle motion, petals adjusting, stem tilting. CRISPR is a soft guide here, helping timing, nudging gently, ensuring the dance of pollination continues in harmony. Inhale. Exhale. You feel your own breath align with the gentle cadence of life, slow and steady, soft and reassuring. Every plant seems aware of its neighbors, each contributing to a quiet network of cooperation. You notice stems leaning slightly towards sunlit gaps, roots spreading patiently without competition, petals opening and closing with rhythm and care. Inhale. Exhale. CRISPR's presence is felt but not heard, like a whisper of guidance in a garden already singing its own lullaby. You smile softly, reassured by the patient, deliberate beauty unfolding before you. The soil beneath your fingertips is warm and fragrant. You press your palm lightly, sensing the quiet energy of roots, worms, and nutrients flowing together. You imagine CRISPR moving through DNA like a careful gardener, suggesting small adjustments, helping each plant respond gracefully, nurturing the subtle dance of growth and protection. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the gentle pulse of life thread through your own chest, your spine, your arms. Sunlight pools across the garden, shadows stretching long and soft. The air carries faint warmth and the whisper of leaves, of wings, of subtle life adjusting in rhythm. CRISPR guides with care, helping plants anticipate changes, strengthen gently, and respond with quiet intelligence. You inhale slowly. Exhale. The pulse of the garden flows into your awareness, teaching patience, attention, and trust in the soft rhythm of life. You walk slowly among the plants, brushing leaves, trailing fingertips over petals, feeling the vibrations of life beneath your touch. The garden hums gently, a symphony of resilience and growth. CRISPR's guidance is subtle, a quiet conversation between human care and natural intelligence, ensuring that every leaf, stem, and root grows with harmony, responding to the world without strain or urgency. Inhale. Exhale. You are part of this quiet song. A gentle breeze lifts a row of sunflowers, their tall heads swaying softly. You notice the delicate timing of each blossom, opening and closing in patient rhythm. CRISPR nudges quietly along their DNA, encouraging subtle resilience, guiding gentle growth, reinforcing harmony without interruption. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the pulse of seasons, sunlight, and life merging with your own breath, slow and steady, soft and calm. The garden stretches farther than you can see, each plant a note in a slow, meditative melody. You inhale deeply, letting the warmth, fragrance, and quiet energy fill your lungs. Exhale softly. CRISPR moves like a careful conductor in this symphony, guiding notes, tuning rhythms, helping the melody continue without haste or disruption. The garden hums. You hum quietly with it, a witness, a participant, a part of the soft, patient unfolding of life. Shadows deepen, golden sunlight pooling in warm patches across petals and soil. You close your eyes for a moment, inhaling the delicate balance of life, exhale slowly, letting the quiet rhythm drift through your body. You feel the slow pulse of growth, protection, timing, and resilience threading through the field, through your awareness, through the hum of gentle science guiding every leaf and stem. Even the tiniest gestures matter. A root curls slightly, a petal tilts imperceptibly, a leaf thickens just enough to resist a passing wind. CRISPR's guidance is delicate, almost imperceptible, helping each plant sense, respond, and grow with patient awareness. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the gentle pulse of possibility, the quiet joy of nurturing life without force, the soft confidence of growth unfolding exactly as it should. And as your breath drifts long and slow, you feel the garden song wrap around you, resilient, harmonious, patient, deliberate. You inhale, exhale, and let yourself merge with the rhythm of stems, roots, leaves, and petals. The sun dips lower, casting long shadows across the field, and you notice how the gentle guidance of science, combined with patient attention, allows life to flourish in harmony. You kneel beside the soil, feeling the faint coolness under your fingertips. Inhale slowly, exhale gently, letting the scent of damp earth fill your senses. You notice the subtle shimmer of water glinting in tiny pools along leaf edges, the faint hum of moisture moving through roots, the soft sigh of air as it touches wet soil. Inhale. Exhale. The garden teaches you patience, showing how every drop carries quiet potential. Water moves slowly, like invisible ribbons weaving through the soil. You imagine roots sensing the tiniest changes, drawing moisture with care, adjusting growth without haste. CRISPR whispers softly in this dance, helping plants understand subtle variations in water, nudging them to grow just enough, to rest when soil is dry, to stretch gently when it is wet. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the pulse of hydration threading through roots, stems, leaves, and into your chest. A gentle breeze lifts leaves, carrying a faint glimmer of dew. You watch as droplets cling, as if the plants are breathing along with you. You inhale slowly, noticing the shimmer, exhale softly, letting the rhythm of water settle into your awareness. Each drop is a quiet messenger, moving through stems, nourishing cells, whispering instructions: grow, adapt, respond. CRISPR aids this conversation, fine-tuning the plant's sensitivity without forcing it. You trace a finger through soft mud, feeling water flow around your hand, cool and deliberate. Roots beneath sense the same slow currents, twisting and reaching, feeling their way through the moist labyrinth. Inhale. Exhale. You imagine CRISPR as a gentle guide, encouraging roots to sense and respond to subtle gradients of hydration, to balance thirst with growth, to adjust gently without strain. The garden is alive in every droplet, in every cell, in every small movement. Sunlight filters through leaves, turning droplets into tiny prisms of calm light. You inhale, letting the warmth mix with the faint scent of water and soil. Exhale, feeling the pulse of life in every shimmer. You notice how even the smallest adjustment, a curling leaf, a slow tilt of a stem, carries significance. Water moves, plants respond, and CRISPR nudges gently along invisible threads of DNA, ensuring every response flows in harmony with nature. The rhythm of hydration is slow and deliberate. You hear the faint murmur of moisture in the soil, the soft vibration of water moving through roots, the gentle pulse of leaves sipping droplets from the air. Inhale. Exhale. The garden hums softly, a symphony of adaptation, resilience, and patient growth. CRISPR's guidance is a quiet note within this melody, suggesting subtle adjustments that help life thrive without hurry. You watch a cluster of seedlings tilt slightly, sensing the soil's moisture and adjusting their tiny stems. CRISPR moves gently among them, tuning their awareness, helping them respond gracefully to the ebb and flow of water. Inhale. Exhale. You feel your own breath synchronize with the pulse of the garden, slow, steady, soft. Life flows in waves of hydration, gentle, rhythmic, patient. A faint drizzle begins, brushing leaves and petals. You inhale, letting the cool scent fill your lungs, exhale softly, letting it settle in your chest. The garden bends slightly under the touch of rain, roots drinking, leaves glistening, stems adjusting with delicate precision. CRISPR whispers along DNA threads, enhancing the plant's ability to sense moisture, to adapt to gentle shifts, to carry resilience in every cell without breaking the rhythm of growth. You reach down and cup a droplet of water in your hand. It is cool, soft, perfect. You watch it absorb slowly into the soil, imagine roots sensing, cells responding, petals tilting. Inhale. Exhale. CRISPR's guidance flows like a subtle river through this process, helping life respond gently to each tiny change. You feel the pulse of water threading through the garden and through your own body, steady, rhythmic, soothing. The breeze carries warmth and moisture across the field. You watch droplets shimmer on leaves, on petals, on stems, each one a tiny pulse of life. CRISPR moves lightly, tuning responses to these gentle cues, helping plants sense, adjust, and thrive without urgency. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the quiet song of hydration flowing through every leaf, every root, every stem. You notice how small, patient adjustments create resilience, how soft guidance allows life to flourish. Sunlight warms the rain-kissed soil, vapor rising in faint curls. You inhale, watching the shimmer of droplets, exhale, letting the quiet pulse of water echo through your awareness. You imagine the invisible threads connecting roots to soil to stem to leaf, the delicate dance of absorption, transport, and response. CRISPR is a gentle participant in this dance, guiding subtle adjustments, enhancing sensitivity, ensuring growth and hydration move in harmony. You notice the soft sway of tall plants, bending lightly under the weight of moisture, roots feeling the wet soil, leaves drinking from air and rain alike. Inhale. Exhale. Every movement is patient, every adjustment deliberate. You imagine CRISPR as a whispering companion, helping plants sense, respond, and grow with gentle awareness. The garden hums with soft energy, and you breathe with it, soft, slow, steady. A small stream trickles nearby, carrying water to the wider garden. You inhale, following its slow course, exhale, letting your mind drift along the invisible channels feeding life. CRISPR's guidance is subtle, nudging plants to sense moisture, respond gracefully, and thrive without struggle. You feel the pulse of hydration moving from root to stem to leaf, echoing in your own chest, calm and unhurried. You watch petals tilt toward raindrops, leaves shimmer in soft light, roots probe gently, and the air hums with quiet energy. Inhale. Exhale. The garden teaches patience, listening, and gentle adaptation. CRISPR moves in harmony, helping plants carry resilience without urgency, ensuring that water, growth, and life flow in soft, interconnected rhythm. You feel a sense of calm certainty, knowing that nurturing care and soft guidance can sustain life beautifully. The sun emerges again, warm and gentle, drying leaves and soil slowly. You inhale the faint scent of damp earth and bright flowers, exhale, letting the pulse of hydration flow through you. CRISPR's subtle nudges help plants respond gracefully to the changing moisture, reinforcing the patient rhythm of growth. Inhale. Exhale. You notice the quiet elegance of life moving in gentle cycles, each adjustment a whisper, each response a soft melody. The garden hums with invisible threads of water, growth, and guidance. You kneel, placing your hand lightly on the soil, feeling the slow flow of moisture beneath your fingers. Inhale. Exhale. The plants respond to tiny cues, roots twisting toward wet patches, leaves tilting to capture dew, stems adjusting to the softness of rain. CRISPR moves quietly among them, enhancing sensitivity, tuning growth, and helping the garden carry resilience in subtle harmony. And as your breath drifts long and slow, you feel the pulse of water move through every stem, root, and leaf. You inhale, exhale, letting the rhythm of hydration echo through your own chest. You notice the quiet intelligence of life, the gentle guidance of science, and the patient unfolding of resilience carried in every droplet. Inhale. Exhale. You drift softly, ready to follow the next whisper of the garden. You kneel in the garden one last time, inhaling slowly, letting the warm scent of soil, petals, and sun-dappled leaves fill your chest. Exhale softly, feeling your body sink lightly into the earth. Inhale. Exhale. You notice the gentle hum of life all around you, the vibration of leaves, the quiet pulse of roots, the faint hum of bees drifting lazily across blossoms. And in that hum, you sense something far larger, something older, something vast. Above you, sunlight glimmers, warm and steady, touching every leaf, every petal, every tiny droplet of water. You inhale, letting the warmth fill you, exhale, imagining how each photon has traveled across the universe for millions of years to reach this garden, to touch your skin, to teach life. CRISPR's guidance is part of this cosmic dance, soft, deliberate, subtle. It nudges without rushing, helping each plant sense, respond, and grow in harmony with the world. You lift your gaze to the sky, imagining stars beyond sight, dust and light drifting through endless space. You inhale slowly, imagining the minerals and nutrients in the soil, once part of those distant stars, now grounding roots, nourishing leaves, feeding blooms. Exhale. You feel the continuity of life, the patient rhythm of creation, carrying the echoes of cosmic history into the present moment. Every plant, every cell, every seed is part of this gentle, universal lullaby. CRISPR moves quietly within this context, guiding plants with subtlety, helping them harmonize with cycles both earthly and cosmic. It does not disrupt the song, it enhances it. You imagine strands of DNA tracing invisible constellations, threads of guidance flowing softly like starlight through veins and roots, reminding you that life and science exist within an expansive, delicate balance. Inhale. Exhale. You feel your breath align with the slow pulse of the universe. You kneel among the rows, brushing your fingers gently over leaves. You feel vibrations of sunlight, water, soil, and life flowing through your fingertips. Inhale. Exhale. Each adjustment, each subtle nudge of CRISPR, is like a tiny reflection of cosmic rhythm, reinforcing the natural intelligence of plants without demanding more than their gentle cooperation. The garden hums, alive with soft resonance, and you are part of this harmony. The wind drifts across stems and petals, lifting pollen gently, carrying it in slow arcs. You inhale, feeling the energy of movement, exhale, imagining pollen grains as stardust, traveling across flowers, carrying whispers of resilience, adaptation, and future life. CRISPR moves like a careful observer in this celestial garden, ensuring that responses are graceful, subtle, and perfectly timed. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the rhythm of growth echoing across scales, from the smallest cell to the cosmos itself. Sunlight glows golden, dusting soil, stems, and leaves. You inhale, letting the warmth fill your awareness, exhale, feeling your chest expand and soften. You notice the smallest details, dew on a petal, a leaf's faint tremble, roots winding through earth, insects drifting lazily through blooms. Each motion is a note in a quiet lullaby spanning soil and stars alike. CRISPR's quiet influence moves seamlessly through this network, helping plants sense and respond without forcing, without urgency. You imagine the nutrients in the soil, once part of distant stars, now carried by water, absorbed by roots, transformed into life. Inhale. Exhale. You feel the slow cycle of matter and energy linking the universe, the garden, and yourself. CRISPR's guidance works within these cycles, enhancing resilience while respecting the natural tempo of life. You are aware that even the gentlest intervention can harmonize with the vastness of time and space. A bee drifts lazily past a bloom, wings vibrating softly. You inhale slowly, feeling the vibration echo in your chest. Exhale, imagining how each small motion carries significance. The flower responds, petals tilting, pollen shifting. CRISPR moves quietly, subtly, enhancing sensitivity and timing without breaking the natural rhythm. You notice how the tiniest gestures, both cosmic and terrestrial, create resonance, continuity, and life's gentle persistence. The garden hums as sunlight deepens, warm across leaves, stems, and soil. You inhale, imagining threads of starlight weaving through DNA, guiding responses in subtle, precise ways. Exhale. You feel the pulse of resilience in every cell, every root, every leaf, harmonizing with cycles of water, sun, air, and cosmic light. CRISPR's nudges are patient, almost imperceptible, enhancing the garden's natural melody rather than changing its song. You sit quietly, hand resting on warm soil, eyes tracing the soft sway of plants. Inhale. Exhale. You sense the invisible rhythm of life threading through each root and stem, a harmony that spans soil, sunlight, moisture, and cosmic dust. The garden teaches patience, subtlety, and the quiet power of observation. CRISPR is a companion, not a conductor, helping life listen to itself, adjusting without force, guiding without urgency. As the sun dips lower, you imagine starlight reaching the earth across unimaginable distances, mingling with sunlight, rain, and soil, carrying whispers of the universe into petals, roots, and seeds. You inhale slowly, exhale softly, letting the enormity of this perspective sink gently into your awareness. You feel a sense of calm certainty. Life is part of a larger, patient rhythm, and every intervention, every breath, every touch can honor that rhythm. The garden stretches endlessly, each plant a note in a lullaby that spans the soil and the stars. You inhale, letting the warmth and hum fill your chest. Exhale, feeling the slow pulse of cosmic harmony thread through you. CRISPR moves softly, DNA responds, roots adjust, stems bend, petals tilt, all in delicate resonance with the universe. Inhale. Exhale. You are carried gently, like a leaf on a slow current of water and light, toward awareness of the interconnectedness of all things. You notice tiny twinkles of reflected light across dew, like miniature stars scattered among leaves. Inhale. Exhale. The garden's quiet energy mirrors the cosmos itself, patient, attentive, harmonious. CRISPR's guidance is a soft echo of this rhythm, enhancing connection, resilience, and sensitivity without force. You feel the garden's wisdom radiate through every fiber of your being, reminding you that care, attention, and patience are the true instruments of life. Even the tiniest seed contains a universe. You imagine each particle of soil, each droplet of water, each photon of sunlight as a note in an endless lullaby of growth. CRISPR moves quietly, nudging DNA with care, ensuring the song continues harmoniously, subtly, respectfully. You inhale, exhale, feeling the infinite connections, roots, leaves, flowers, sky, soil, stars, and your own awareness threading together in a slow, deliberate pulse. You rise slowly, noticing the gentle sway of the garden in evening light. Warm air brushes your skin, and the faint hum of insects drifts through the field. You inhale, exhale, letting the pulse of life sink into your awareness. CRISPR's quiet guidance, the garden's patient wisdom, and the slow rhythm of starlight all converge, showing you that growth, care, and resilience can exist in harmony, quietly, patiently, beautifully. And as your breath drifts long and soft, you feel the vastness of life and the universe threading through petals, stems, roots, leaves, soil, and sky. You inhale slowly, exhale, and let yourself merge with the gentle rhythm of existence. The garden, the stars, the wind, and the soil all hum together, carrying the story of life and subtle guidance into your chest, into your mind, into your dreams.